Hello and welcome. I'm Al Barrows, and this is UFO Disclosure, the podcast that's meant to show an average person's reaction to all the UFO, UAP news from everywhere and anywhere. So the UAP hearings in Congress are sort of at a standstill. Burchett is promising that there'll be new whistleblowers soon. In the meantime, around the world, the UFO disclosure seems to be spreading. Mexico recently had its own revelations in their own UAP hearings. And the main focus of the Mexican UAP hearings centered around a number of Nazca ET mummies. And there's been a lot of controversy over that. I'd like to show a video of how technicians have been studying these mummies. So this is in Spanish. So as it goes along, I'm going to be translating. Okay, so you can see that the alien body has been fossilized. It's very small. They're saying that they've decided to call this alien Clara. It's a female. It doesn't look real, but that's fossilization. That's what things look like after a few thousand years of being fossilized. And they're just taking an overall look at it and telling the public or the camera that they're going to do an X-ray to see what's inside. He's confirming that this is an ET that thousands of years ago roamed our planet. They're confirming that the ET is real. They're looking at something inside of the body. It looks like 3 eggs. And there's also seems to be a plate at the top uppermost chest. Now, these are fingers. These are joints. This is obviously an alien that's much larger than the one that we just saw before by the name of Clara. They're showing us a ring that's been fossilized on the hand as well. He's saying that there's all sorts of elements inside that make up the ring. It's a combination of elements, some of which are gold and platinum. Yeah, it's a combination of metals. And now they're going on to say that the hand measures 45 centimeters. So it's a much larger hand. Yeah, the ET is much larger. There's also a plate inside the hand, which they're looking at. He's counting the joints now. The hand actually the fingers have 6 joints, as opposed to our 3 joints in each finger. 6 knuckles, that is, as opposed to our 3 knuckles. Yeah, he's confirming that it's much bigger. It's not size of Clara. It's a much bigger ET. And this is the X-ray technician showing the X-ray. That's the inside of the Clara, the first ET that they were showing. An X-ray technician is confirming that it is a biological body. What we're looking at is a biological body. This is the inside of that fossilized ET Clara that we saw just before. He's showing the joints. The joints are very similar to human joints. He goes on to say that this is definitely human. It's not plastic or synthetic at all. X-ray technician is saying that he's not sure what it is, even though they look like eggs, and other scientists, other reports have reported that these are eggs, that these aliens did not give birth the way that we did. But there's been a lot of commentary on X, one of which I'm going to go over now. This is about why the Mexican aliens might be real, DNA evidence aside. And first he says that where these really found in a 1,000-year-old mine? If so, that definitely rules out modern hoaxes. It could be an ancient hoax, sure, or some religious practice similar to elongated skull worship, but that's not as likely. Okay, so they were found in Nazca in a 1,000-year-old mine. Hard for somebody to have done that 1,000 years ago just to create a hoax. Second, in the posting, it says there are 20 aliens total. Okay, 20 of these aliens. With 20 bodies total, I think as far as hoaxing goes, why would you really want to work that hard? The cost-benefit ratio seems off on that one. That's true. If you wanted to create a hoax, why not just do 1 or 3, not go as far as 20? Thirdly, the posting says the eggs inside, the ones that I was showed on the video and I was guessing they were eggs. They contain fetuses of what human DNA? Sorry, but that is one elaborate and painstaking hoax to pull off. In case you forgot, humans don't hatch from eggs. That's true. Whatever the F is going on here, I find the egg thing the weirdest. Just the level of detail that goes into crafting the human DNA within an egg. Okay, the way the vertebrae shifted to accommodate the gestation, that's some next level hoaxing. That's true. Yeah. Why would you go that far? Okay. Fourthly, the last bullet point this post has is the credentials of the other researchers is impressive. My brain cannot figure out why scientists who take their reputation seriously would stick their necks out if they didn't find the evidence convincing. That's true. There are some noteworthy scientists working on this down in Mexico. We're talking high-level people here. Being fooled by a hoaxer? This is the question being put by the post here. My spidey sense tells me no way. They'd risk it all unless something personally convinced them. A detective in any criminal case will tell you motive is everything. I don't see their motive for lying at all. And last but not least, and this is a good point I think the post makes, is that the osmium, that's expensive and rare. And this post says that I don't see a hoaxer getting a wild hair up and their ass and spending a bunch of money on a rare metal for a hoax and not make it obvious what it was used for. That's true. Why would they include osmium in there, very expensive element, and not really make it obvious what it was there for? It's a very weird thing. This post goes on to say to add your alien hoax job, to add to your alien hoax job. That honestly doesn't need it. And finally, the post says, for me, the DNA results are for people who want to get lost in the weeds. These other details are where we need to focus on and learn more about. Okay, that's a valid point. And a very commonsensical one. I'm going to share another picture of the X-ray. You can see here the elongated skull, the plate in the chest, and the 3 eggs. You can see the 3 eggs clearly here. Okay, that is very odd. There is another picture of the hand, and as you can see, they only have 3 fingers, very long fingers, but only 3 fingers and 3 toes from this post by someone studying the hand by the name of Jose de Jesus Salce Benitez. All very interesting. Okay, so it was a ufologist and researcher that brought these Nazca mummies from Peru to the Mexican UAP hearings. His name is Jamie Maussan, and this is an article written by Kumar Gupta. It was written up September the 13th. Jamie Maussan claims to be an expert on unidentified flying objects and ETs is the title. Okay, this is the man who unveiled the alien corpses at the Mexican UAP hearing or Mexican Congress. That's what he looks like. He brought 2 boxes containing what he said were small stuffed bodies of ETs recovered in Peru in 2017, by the way. He said that the carbon-14 dating carried out by the National Autonomous University of Mexico had determined the remains were 700 to 1800 years old. Each of the figures has only 3 fingers on each hand and elongated heads, resembling at least superficially the Hollywood-born character E.T. Jamie Maussan, pictured here, told Mexican Congress that they were definitely not human. He urged them to consider the topic, which he said should not be viewed as a political topic. It is a topic for humanity. He said DNA evidence could prove the specimens were not of this planet. But it wasn't clear if any such tests had been carried out. At least one previous claim by Jamie Maussan said that non-human remains were discovered in Peru and that they possibly were debunked, although the specimens he presented in the Mexican UAP hearing appeared different from the ones he previously spoke about in 2015. The hearing was to debate the language on UAP in the Aerial Space Protection Law. And if the language was approved, it would turn Mexico into the first nation to formally acknowledge the presence of life, the presence of alien life on Earth. That's a big deal. And Jamie Maussan, for those of you that don't know, he appears regularly on shows like Ancient Alien. He's also always in the Mexican media to present his reporting on UFOs. He was joined for the hearing in the Mexican Congress in the lower chamber of deputies by a former U.S. Navy pilot who recently made a similar case in the U.S. By the name of Ryan Graves, if you recall. So Ryan Graves, the whistleblower from our UAP hearings this past June the 26th, was also involved in the Mexican UAP hearings. And there was a big controversy over that because he didn't expect Jamie Maussan to reveal the ET corpses, and he feels that he was sort of ambushed. And if you recall, Ryan Graves is the executive director of the Americans for Safe Aerospace organization. While he was there, he told the Mexican politicians that he found the group after recognizing the need for action and answers. On Wednesday, however, Graves made it clear that he was unhappy about being put on a platform to present his own account alongside what he called a stunt by Jamie Maussan. In a tweet, he accepted the invitation to testify before the Mexican lawmakers and, quote, hoping to keep up the momentum of government interest in pilot experiences with the UAP. And I appreciate that, Ryan. He went on to say, unfortunately, yesterday's demonstration was a huge step backwards for this issue. My testimony centered on sharing my experience and UAP reports I hear from commercial pilots and witnesses. I will continue to raise awareness, but I am deeply disappointed by this unsubstantiated stunt. Furthermore, folks, you should know that the Peru's culture minister, Leslie Ortega, also spoke out to say that no scientific body in her country had identified the remains presented by Jamie Maussan, and that she questioned how the items had even left Peru. She goes on to say, this is a criminal complaint from the Ministry of Culture against some people who had a relationship with this gentleman. Ortega told journalists late on Wednesday in a reference to Maussan and his associates. In July, Ryan Graves addressed the U.S. House of Reps, as you all know, along with David Grush. As a whistleblower, he accused the U.S. executive branch of keeping Congress and the American people in the dark about UAPs. Grush was also there, as you all know. He served 14 years as an intelligence officer. And he also told the House Oversight Committee that he'd learned of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval reverse engineering program. Just to remind you guys about what went on this past July the 26th. And if you've been keeping up with my podcast, you know that a month after this big revelation by Grush and Ryan and asking Congress for more transparency, the Pentagon reacted by announcing that they were opening up a website through the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARROW, and they've launched it already, and I've gone over that in my previous podcast. It's a new website, and it shows a lot of information about UAPs, declassified videos. Graves here himself was an F-18 pilot based in Virginia Beach. And if you recall, in 2014, his squadron started detecting unknown objects, and he described them as dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere, where the apex or tips of the cubes were touching the inside of the sphere. He said a fellow pilot had told him about an incident about 10 miles off the coast in which an object between 5 and 15 feet in diameter flew between two F-18s, coming within 50 feet of the aircraft. He said that there was no acknowledgement of the incident by the U.S. Navy or way to report the encounter at the time. Graves also told Congress that UAP encounters are not rare or isolated. He went on to say that we are left with thoughts and concerns, and with the plan to continue talking about this. The Mexican UAP hearing ended with a decision to continue to be transparent and talk about UAPs. A Mexican lawmaker that was presenting there by the name of Sergio Gutierrez. This was this past Tuesday. He said, and I quote, "Let's hope that this is the first of several events and that there will be a discussion within the legislature of Mexico on the need or not to make proposals to modify the laws." So that's a step in the right direction. And I'm just glad that the UAP hearings or disclosures starting to spread around the country. And I appreciate Ryan Graves going down to Mexico. It's just too bad that he wasn't given a heads up as to what Jamie Maussan was going to be showing. And I guess you can't account for his reaction. That's just his nature. He didn't like being surprised. He didn't want to be associated with that. Just thought I'd put that out there. My reaction to all this as an average person is that I'm just glad that disclosure is starting to spread. There's more transparency. I do believe that Ryan Graves should have been given more of a heads up as to what was going to be included, because he's more of a straight conservative type pilot. He wants to keep it on the conservative side. And by adding Jamie Maussan's revelations, that put it more in the realm of conspiracy theories. So I can empathize, but at the same time, it's interesting to see the video that I showed, and to have everything all in one package makes it convenient for us. I hope you enjoyed this discussion or my reaction to the Mexican UAP hearings. Hopefully soon, and Burchett is promising more whistleblowers will be coming forward. We'll be having more of our own. I'm Al Barrows. This is UFO Disclosure. All the blessings and love and good intentions go out to all. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.